Hey, this is Trisha with Fresh Vision 12. I just wanted to come on here just really quick and just to say, you know what? Coming out of homosexuality, you are going to be tempted. You're going to be tempted at some point to want to go back. Whether you're reminiscing, whether it's an ex that's calling you, whether it is depression, anxiety, loneliness, whatever it is, there's going to be that, what will happen if I go back? Well, maybe it will work out or maybe not. You know, sometimes even in very difficult relationships, like toxic relationship, we have a tendency to imagine or reminisce. Remember when the children of Israel, when they were in the wilderness and they started romanticizing about how great Egypt was, when they were talking about like they were eating steak and potatoes, but really they were eating little soup. They were just not enjoying their time, and they were working so hard. They were overworked, of course, underpaid. They were being tortured. But for whatever reason, when they're under the pressure or fear, sometimes we don't think about fear. And I mentioned anxiety, which is a form of fear. But whatever it is, that thing is, sometimes we feel that pressure and we want a relief. We want to go back. We want to either feel love. We want to feel accepted. We want to feel heard. We want to feel like we belong. We just want that reprieve, especially if the person that you was with was, outgoing, was funny, was the life of the party, or they did things with you that nobody else did. Like, they wanted to go, hiking or kayaking or whatever it is, where now you have decided, I'm no longer going to live that life. I'm pursuing hot after God with all my heart. And so, Lord, I just don't want to go back there. But sometimes you do. The enemy will bring thoughts to your mind as if you want to. So you have to recognize when it's the voice of the enemy, the voice of self. You have to, what am I missing? When it's the voice of self, you have to ask yourself, when this temptation arises, what am I missing? Is there something that I am not getting in this moment that I need to get, that I'm trying to get from an external source when I need to get from God? So you have to begin to ask yourself, why do I feel that way? And so I just want to come on here just very briefly and share that we are going to have moments, but you have to remember Lot's wife. I'll read Genesis 19 verse 26. It says, but Lot's wife looked back and she became a pillar of salt. There's an old saying that you can get a man out of the ghetto, but you can't get the ghetto out of the man. Why do we say that? It's because God was delivering Lot and his family out of a place of temptation, of whoredom, of godlessness. It was a place that was offensive to God. And so, Lot, cried out. He needed help. He needed to escape. And so God heard the cry of Abraham, actually, because God had already told Abraham that he was going to destroy, Sodom and Gomorrah. And so Lot was in that place where he lived in Sodom and Gomorrah. And so God took him out of that place to safety. But Lot's wife, the instruction of the Lord was, when you leave this place, do not look back. Looking back was an indication of longing, of desire, of wanting to go back to those things that are offensive to God and is hurtful and painful to yourself. Sometimes we romanticize relationships that were very toxic, that were very horrific, and we want to go back to those things, but God is just like, no, I need your focus. I need your gaze to be upon me. In Proverbs 26 verse 11, it says, as a dog returned to its vomit, so fools return to their folly, or their stupidity, or their foolishness. And so we don't want to be like dogs that return to their vomit. We don't want to be like Lot's wife that look back from the place that God was trying to deliver her from. So God has put stamp his foot down. He has arrested our hearts. He has arrested our spirit. He has arrested our mind for deliverance, for healing, to just walk a life that's holy, walk a life that's pleasing to God. So do not look back. It doesn't matter how hard the temptation will come at you, because it will come hard. And it doesn't come when you are feeling like the best about yourself. Temptation does not come when you feel like you're on top of the world, that you are passing tests, that you are on fire for God and you're feeling God's presence, and you're not what's the word, you haven't become complacent. Temptation comes when you have become complacent, when you are wandering. You start having that wandering eye, looking all over the place instead of looking at him. And so we don't want to be like that. We don't want to be like Gadol going back, and we don't want to be like Lot's wife looking back. As God was trying to deliver her, she looked back. So we don't want to be like that, because what happens is we die in that place that God is trying to deliver us from. If we continue to look back, if we continue to long for what used to be or what could have been, we will die. There will not be any spiritual rescue, because God has already rescued you and delivered you. And so he wants to put you in a place, in a city, in a group of people, in the will of God, where you are prospering, where you're doing well in the spirit, where you're on fire, you're burning for him and not burning for other stuff, burning for the flesh. And so, in short, I just wanted to come on here and just encourage you just to continue to fight the good fight of faith, and pursue God with every single thing on the inside of you, because even though it may seem like you're not moving forward, you're not doing anything, you still feel like you're struggling, God has not forgotten. God is not overlooking your no's, and he is excited about your yeses. Yes to him and no to temptation. So thank you so much for joining. Go ahead and subscribe and share. God bless you.